I was born the son of a Benedictine monk and a gypsy girl in Pelhřimov of Moravia in 1898. The gypsy, whose name I never knew, died giving birth to me, but not before laying a gypsy curse on the monk. He went on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem, but lost his mind and burned himself to death on Golgotha's peak. The gypsies took care of me, and I traveled with their caravan for 5 years around Europe and the Middle East until they forgot me in Istanbul in 1907. I became a pickpocket until an Orthodox priest caught me in the act and took me as his disciple. I ran away from him 5 years later to follow a Greek girl named Minerva. She betrayed me in Cyprus for an Italian, so I joined the Turkish army. I was captured by the English in the Battle of Aqaba and joined their ranks, being mistaken for a Russian. I followed T. E. Lawrence to Arabia, where I became a Muslim and settled down in Mecca. After 5 years, I became restless and rode a camel to India. There I met Bruno, my chimpanzee, whom I taught to dance as I played gypsy songs on my accordion. We were discovered by an English circus master who took us on a world tour in 1926. We were such a success that the tour never seemed to end, and eventually Bruno developed a drinking problem. From the first time I gave him a drink, he never seemed to go without. Last time I saw him was in Quebec in 1929. He beat the shit out of me and left with a bottle of vodka, $300 and all my cigarettes. Without him, I was a nobody. So I became a whiskey smuggler during the Prohibition years, since there was no work to find in the midst of the Depression. I never got caught, made a fortune, and lost all my money gambling one night. And then World War II broke out. I joined the army, and when the Pacific War began, I was a captain in the Battle of Guadalcanal. I was marooned on a tiny island in the South Pacific for 7 years, which I spent writing modernist poetry. Then I was discovered by an Australian transport vessel and moved to China to join the Communist Revolution. I worked as an assistant florist in Beijing for a decade, until the florist died. He told me on his deathbed that he was in fact the last emperor of China. I had no way of knowing for sure. During the turmoil of the Cultural Revolution, I started to feel uneasy, so I escaped to Hong Kong on a fishing boat and sailed to San Francisco. I spent my last money there on a new accordion, which I had not played since Bruno left me in 1929. I became a street musician, or a beggar if you will, earning enough cash for one day at a time, moving from town to town by freight trains. It was in Tulsa, Oklahoma that I met Miguel. He was a 20-year-old gardener, flaming gay, with dark hair and impeccable taste. I soon grew tired of him, so I stole his Cadillac and drove to Guatemala, where the car broke down in the middle of the jungle. From there, I tried to make my way back north, surviving for months on insects and small animals, learning the secrets of the jungle from the Quetzalcoatl Indians of the Amazon. They led me to a sacred herb in the heart of the jungle that reversed the process of aging. So from then on, I have been growing younger every year. When I had made my way to Panama, I was kidnapped by guerrillas, and after 7 weeks in captivity, I overcame them with the help of a cat and a small fork, and hitched a ride on a freight ship to South Africa. From there, I journeyed to Mozambique, where I met Minerva, the Greek girl who left me in 1912 for an Italian. I didn't recognize her, but as I had grown young again, she could easily recognize me. We spent 5 years together before she died, and I moved here. But none of this is true, except for the first bit, that I was born.